Hey students, this is lesson 1-6. We're going to learn how to find products and quotients of real numbers. Go ahead and do this review to help us get started here. Make sure you notice the very important definition there, reciprocals. All right, we're going to start here. We're going to use patterns to help us just figure out why the quotients of integers and products of integers are what they are. So one thing about math is if you have numbers that go in patterns, the results will also go in patterns. So here we're multiplying 2 by descending numbers, 3, 2, 1, 0, and so on. So we get 6, 4, 2, 0, and notice that the product is always 2 less, so it makes sense that 2 times -1 is -2, and 2 times -2 is -4. And in the second one, we're multiplying -2 times descending numbers, so we get -6, -4, -2. The next number, we're always increasing by 2 here, and would be 0, 2, and 4. And what we can learn from this is, it seems like if we're multiplying 2 positive numbers, we get a positive. So maybe I go positive times positive equals positive. We multiply a negative and a positive. We seem to be getting negative numbers. When we multiply, and that holds true here. When we multiply any number times 0, and it doesn't matter whether it's negative or positive, when we multiply any number times 0, we get 0. And when we multiply 2 negatives, that's the last part here, we get a positive. And we're going to use those ideas to help us find products and quotients. Turns out that, remember that dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So the same rules can apply for quotients as they do for products. All right, so here's our key concepts. The product or quotient of 2 real numbers with different signs is negative. The quotient of 0 in any non-real number is 0. The product or quotient of 2 real numbers with the same sign is positive. The quotient of any real number and 0 is undefined. All right, so we're going to write negative, positive, undefined, or 0 in each. Go ahead and pause, and you can do that. And do number 5 also. Okay, using those rules, and again, these are simple problems, so you shouldn't be using a calculator on these, but just know the rules. Here we have a positive number, and we're going to multiply that by a negative. A positive times a negative is a negative. And then we'll just do 9 times 7, which is 63. Here we're multiplying 2 positives. Positive times a positive is a positive. And 32 times 0.5, that's like taking 50% of 32 or half of 32, which is 16. Here we have a negative times a positive, which is going to give us a negative. And then the rule for multiplying fractions is just multiply the numerators together. So 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 6 is 12. And that's simplified. There's no common factor in the numerator denominator. We're going to expand this so we can see what's going on here. It really means -5 times -5, and a negative times a negative is positive 25. All right, I'll let you try that. All right. Dividing real numbers. So simplifying square root expressions. Square roots can be positive or negative or both. What I mean by that is this. 25, what a square root is a number multiplied by itself that equals 25. And that could be either 5 times 5 or -5 times -5. So 25 really has 2 square roots. if you write square root of 25 this way, then that means you're looking for the positive square root, which would be 5. If you write it this way, that means you're looking for the negative square root, which is negative 5. And if you write this, that means you want both square roots. And that would be plus or positive and negative 5. All right, so here within this first problem, we're looking for the negative square root. So it's going to be a negative. And then we know that 7 times 7 is 49, so the square root of 49 is 7. Similarly, here we want both square roots. We want the positive and the negative 1. We know that 2 times 2 equals 4. And we know that 3 times 3 equals 9. So the square root is 2/3. All right, I'll let you try that. Okay, dividing real numbers. The same rules apply if you're dividing two numbers with different signs. Then the quotient is a negative. If they both have the same sign, then the quotient is a positive. So the elevation of a hot air balloon changes by negative 3,750 feet in 5 minutes after the parachute is open. What is the change in the hot air balloon's elevation each minute? So the change per minute, so we want to know how many feet per minute change there is. So that seems like a division problem. Take our number of feet of change, which is negative 3,750, and divide it by our number of minutes. And when you do that, you get negative 750 feet per minute. So we're going to use a negative just to describe a parachute that's going down, or a hot air balloon that's going down. All right, I'll let you try that. Another useful property is the inverse property of multiplication. For every non-zero real number, there's a multiplicative inverse 1 over a, such that a times 1 over a equals 1. And the reciprocal of a non-zero number of the form a over b is b over a. The product of a number and its reciprocal is 1. So the reciprocal of a number is its multiplicative inverse. To divide fractions, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal of a fraction. And just so you get a feel for why that's true, 2 divided by 2 means I'm splitting it up into 2 parts. Well, another way I can split something up into 2 parts is to multiply by a half. And so dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2, and 2 and 1/2 are reciprocals. All right, so we want to do 1/2 divided by negative 2/3, and we could also write it this way: 1/2 divided by negative 2/3. And the way we're going to do that is by multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of negative 2/3 is negative 3 over 2. And then I'm just going to use my multiplication of fractions idea here. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. 2 times 2 is 4. So the answer is D, negative 3/4. I'll let you try that. All right, we're up to the lesson check here. That should do it. Go ahead and do the lesson check, see if you understand, and we'll talk about this tomorrow.